The unveiling in 2022 of the sculpture called Freedom's Home was the culmination of a project to recognize the efforts of enslaved people to break free from bondage through the legal system. Located outside the Civil Courts building in downtown St. Louis, the sculpture depicts enslaved plaintiffs along with attorneys who represented them through what are known as freedom suits. In September of the following year at Calvary Cemetery, the grave marker of Dred Scott was replaced by a striking 9-foot monument etched with Scott's image and details of his own historic court case. The fundraising drive to pay for the monument's creation was spearheaded by the Dred Scott Heritage Foundation.
A memorial exists to preserve our memories, to commemorate, celebrate, take note of, and salute someone of great significance. This memorial is a representation of the hopes of many dreamers, doers, supporters, donors, and champions who gave freely of their strength, talents, and gifts to telling the story of Dred Scott. It has evolved from a simple grave marker, something often withheld from the graves of the enslaved, to a place for commemoration and contemplation. It has been quite a journey.
And 2 weeks later, in October of 2023 at Greenwood Cemetery, a grave marker for Scott's wife Harriet and their infant grandson Edward Madison was presented. Many people were unaware of the exact location of Harriet's grave within Greenwood until recently. Ensuring that the stories of the enslaved are never forgotten is the mission of a descendant of Dred and Harriet Scott. Joining us now is Lynne Jackson, founder of the Dred Scott Heritage Foundation. Welcome, Lynne.
Thanks, Ruth. Thanks for having me back.
That is such a beautiful monument. Is that marble or granite for Dred Scott?
It's granite, and I'm just thrilled with it. It is 9 foot and 10 by 10. And what I want people to know about it is that as much as we appreciate the one that was there, which was given by a descendant of the original owners in the Blow family, this one will tell his story. This one will have all of his story on the front and the back. And that in order to do this the way we did it, there were 3 graves purchased for Dred Scott when that original grave was there. He was there for 90 years unmarked. And Taylor Blow had to buy 3 grave plots so that Dred Scott could be buried in Calvary and not next to a white person. So those 3 plots together allowed us to have a 10 by 10 granite base and a 9-foot high monument.
I would imagine it makes it much easier to find his grave now if you're going to the cemetery.
Absolutely. I personally have to admit that I have gone by the old one before. Calvary has 300,000 people in it, as well as he is about one of the most asked for persons there. He's number 1 or number 2. And there wasn't that much to see. And I thought about people coming from out of town who might ride by and go, well, we never found it. Well, they're going to find this one.
Well, getting monuments, that's not your only mission. It's also spreading the word. You have gone into schools, too, to tell this story.
Oh, goodness, yes. I go into schools. I go into law firms. I am in museums. I've spoken to the National Association of Attorney Generals twice. I've been everywhere almost, and that is the mission. It's commemoration, education, and reconciliation. So that is a big part of what I do personally, yes.
We had spoken earlier, you had mentioned a project you did with the Rockwood schools.
Yes, I did. Last summer, I was honored to be one of the 8 people who shared our histories with the Rockwood school children. They had the 4th graders through the 12th graders come out to Beaumont Camp, and over a 2-week period for 6 days, I gave 48 sessions on the life and legacy of Dred Scott. It was fast moving. Every 30 minutes, a new class would come in. But it was wonderful. And the children were so receptive. They were amazingly well-behaved and very receptive to the history. So yeah, that did happen in the Rockwood School District.
In recent months, I'm sure you've read a number of stories about Black history being taught in general and objections in some quarters to that. As someone who's promoting Black history and talking about the stories of slaves, how do you react when you see this stuff in the news?
Well, I'm a different kind of person, I guess. It doesn't anger me so much because I realize that we should put our energies into doing something about a problem. And I'm on a committee called Challenging History, which is part of the Jefferson National Parks Association board that I'm on. And we started challenging history about 3 or 4 years ago under the name Teaching Hard History. So we've not stopped doing that. In fact, it has mushroomed. But when we hear about school districts or organizations or whatever feeling like, oh, maybe we shouldn't teach Black history, it just motivates us all the more to be sure that we do. And I also think that we need to be very careful to understand the motives and the understandings behind some of the decisions that these people make, because I don't think the general public is as well informed as they should be. And I do think that as far as Francis Howell goes, there are some issues with their social justice standards, and I think that was the push behind it, but that never came to the forefront. So I take a deep dive and I look into it. I don't just react to what I see or hear.
Yeah. Very quickly, before we leave, you are headed to Salt Lake City next month for what I understand is the world's largest genealogical conference.
I know, I'm as surprised as you are. But I will be a keynote speaker at RootsTech 2024, and that will be the days of February 29th, March 1st, and March 2nd in Salt Lake City. It is the largest genealogical conference globally. About 3 to 4 million people attend, either in person or online. So I'm promoting it for them and invite people to go to rootstech.org and sign up because it is amazing, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good. And family history is some of the most important history we can all learn.
Well, isn't it though?
Yeah. Well, Lynne Jackson, thank you so much for joining us. This great conversation.
Well, thanks, Ruth. Always a pleasure. Thank you.